I'm going to show you two ways of doing this question. There's a slow way, but we'll get there. Just take a little bit longer, and there's a quick way. So slow way is just to work out the increase year upon year. So 2014, you have £240,000. And then the value increases by 5% every year. So I can actually find 5% of £240,000. This can be done in a few ways. You could write 5 and then the percentage button, or 5 divided by 100, and then times that by 240,000. Equivalently, you could find 10% by dividing by 10 and then divide by 2, or divide by 20, because that's what happens. When you times by 5 and divide by 100, it's the same as dividing by 20. I get 12,000, and then I'm going to add that on. I don't think I'm going to show every step it's working. You could do that if you want to be really careful. But I found 12,000 and then I've added this on. So I've now got 252,000. Maybe I will just in brackets write that. Hey, and now I'm going to do the same again, but I just need to be careful because now it's going to increase by 5% of this new amount. So 5 divided by 100 times 252,000 is going to be 1260, and add it on, and I get, okay, let me just write down 1260 before I forget. So I've got my 252,000. I'm adding on 12,600, and I get 264,600. As you can see, this is taking a bit of time, and this method would not work well if you had like 20 years. You'd be there a long time. But it will work, typically GCSE questions do not ask you to do 20 years. Right, finally, I'm going to do 5% of this other number I've just found. I can use the answer button rather than write it all out again. And I get 13230. I can add that. Sorry, it's not quite lined up, is it? But you can see what I'm doing. 264600 plus that. $277,830. And that is our final answer. You tend to put a comma in. I haven't done that anywhere else. But yeah. Okay, now I'm going to show you a quick way of doing it. Actually, I'm going to show it to you in two different ways. When I increase by 5%, I'm actually taking my 100% and I'm adding 5% on. So I actually want 105%. And what I can do is actually times by 105%. Because if you times by 100%, you just times in by 1, you just get back to the original. If you times by 5%, you get 5%. So if you want 100% plus 5%, you can actually times by 105%, because that will add the 100% onto the 5%. I can do it like this. Okay, and I get that 252,000 from before. And I could just times by 105% again. And again, and then again. Okay, if you don't believe me, let me just convince you I'd get there. We get the same answer. Now, an even quicker way of doing it, that was really quick, wasn't it? Even quicker way of doing it is to realize that if I was to times by 105% 3 times, I can actually just write 105% and then cube it. That will do it all in one go. We get there just with this one line, which is massively advantageous. If you wanted to do it for 20 years, you just change it to 20 and we're done. The other, like, this is the way I would teach it. If you're really confident with it, actually, 105% is just 1.05. So when I'm looking at this problem, I just say, right, it's increasing by 5%. That's 105%. The multiplier is 1.05. And we can simply get 240,000 and times it by 1.05 to the power 3. It's exactly the same as 105%. It's just I don't need to use the percentage button. I can just go straight there. Again, we get that. Okay, but if you prefer this, fine. But it's nice to be aware of more efficient methods, and so I wanted to go through that as well.